Hello, friends. I thought I'd come to you today for the What If workshop. This week, we are focused on protecting our energy. And I am going to just talk to y'all for a little bit in hopes that you listen to this as you're going through your Monday morning joy work. What if protecting your energy wasn't selfish? What if it was strategic? I think that you're here in the Olive Groves community and in this workshop because you have been thinking about that energy draining activity that you'd eliminate. And you're tired of just powering through. So today, we're going to change that narrative. I think that most of us have been taught, women in particular, that good professionals push through exhaustion. If you're drained, you're not working hard enough. That energy management is a luxury. Taking breaks means being lazy. But here is what is actually true. Depleted people make poor decisions. Exhausted leaders can't inspire, and running on empty isn't sustainable. It is sabotage to yourself. So that myth of powering through, that just push through it really means that you should ignore your body's signals, sacrifice quality for quantity, normalize burnout as a dedication, mistake exhaustion for achievement. And what it costs you is so much that I don't know that we're thinking about. And women have decreased creativity, poor judgment, health issues, resentment, losing connection to why you even started in the first place. So, why does this matter right now? I want you to hear me when I say your energy isn't unlimited. It is your most valuable professional asset. Not your time, not your skills, not your network, your actual energy. And without it, none of the rest matters. And so you have these hidden energy drains. You've got some obvious ones. We could all name them off the top of our heads: bad meetings, toxic coworkers, boring tasks. But then we have those hidden ones that you may not have thought about yet. And so I'm thinking about things like unclear expectations. Think about how, if you don't really know what you're supposed to be doing, how that can impact the amount of energy you have to complete your work. The lack of autonomy to do the kind of work that you know is meaningful. Maybe there's a values misalignment, or you have decision fatigue. Oh, the decision fatigue hits really hard. Your body only has, and your mind only has, a finite capacity to make decisions. You've got perfectionism that creeps in there. Hello, recovering perfectionist. We've talked about the little friend that lives inside my head that we call Marjorie, that sits on my shoulder, that tells me that I need to be perfect. And if I haven't, that there's something wrong with me. And then that constant context switching. Have you ever had a meetings all day long, but none of them have to do with anything else? That switching back and forth, it's going to suck you dry. All of these are silent killers. And so I want you to sit and think about which one of those really resonates with you. There's no judgment in this. It's just acknowledging what is your truth. And so as you're going through Monday Morning Joy, that first week is really focused on your energy audit. And so think about these kinds of questions. If you haven't done that and you have never done this before, it may be a really great activity for you to start to do that on a regular basis. So asking yourself, what gave me energy today? What drained me? Be very specific. Meetings is not enough. Some of the meetings are important. And actually, meetings can give us joy, right? And really lift us up and get us excited. What could I do differently tomorrow? Just start to track these things. That's the whole point of the energy audit week, is really for you to start to think about those things and start to observe patterns. We have to start paying attention, friends, have to start paying attention to us. So how can you honor your own energy? if you have a demanding role, which a lot of you do, you can block off 15-minute buffer times between meetings. That's allowed. If you've never done that, let me give you that permission. You can also say, let me check my capacity before really committing to what's next. You have the ability to delegate, delete, or delay tasks strategically. Think about when you do your most important work and see if you can align that with your peak energy hours. For me, I am not the person that is going to get up at 5 a.m. and go to the gym and do all the things. I am in awe of those human beings. My peak energy is around 9:30 to 12:30. Got up, watched the sun come up. I move really slowly, drinking my coffee. I am just entering the day slowly. So when that peak energy time hits, that's when I am most creative. It's when I can do my most important work. At a different time in my life, though, that peak energy time came at 8:30. I had tiny humans. Those humans are now young adults. And so they're out of my house. And so I have that slower time. But if you're somebody with little people at home who you need to get in bed, which that was me at a given point in time, my energy peaked around 8:30 p.m. Even after putting those babies to bed, it was okay, this is the time for me to really focus on what I want to focus on. I wasn't focused on doing the laundry. I wasn't focused on cleaning the house. I was focused on what my work was at that time and had the luxury to be able to work from home. And so from 8:30 p.m. to 12:30 a.m. was the time that I was on. And so those things are going to adjust. So think about that. The last two that I want you to pay attention to the most when we're talking about our energy is you need to set some boundaries. You have to stick to them around response times. You do not, let me repeat, do not need to respond immediately. I used to work with a colleague and I was always impressed that I was getting email responses from her between 7:30 a.m. and 9 a.m. She was an early person. She managed a big team. She managed big projects. She was checking emails from 7:30 a.m. to 9 a.m. Then sometimes I would get them at around 4 o'clock, but never in the middle of the day. That was when she was checking email so that she could focus during the middle of the week. You need to figure out what that time is for you, even if you're working in a company that has this mentality of you need to be on, you need to protect your own energy. And finally, I would argue most importantly, take your actual lunch break. You need to get out of your chair. You need to fuel your body with goodness. Drink some water. You have to eat. Your body does not run without fuel. So these little small protections of your energy are going to just make this massive impact for you. And so I want to shift a little bit in the final half of this workshop into what is negotiable versus what is non-negotiable. And that is going to be different for all of us. This is where you have to have some real talk with yourself about what you can do versus what you cannot do. So you may not be able to change your meeting schedule immediately. Notice that I said immediately. You're not going to be able to eliminate difficult coworkers or fire them, and you're probably not going to be able to quit your job tomorrow. But you can, and this is where you have to shift into that positive mindset. You can change how you show up. You can really protect those small pockets of time, setting those internal boundaries for yourself. You don't have to write that down. You don't have to tell anybody about it. You just have to decide what your boundaries are. Choosing then, number 4 here, where you spend your energy, and then asking for what you need. If you have never asked for that help or asked for something different or asked for a change in meeting structure, hey, can we just have 7 minutes in between meetings? Control what's controllable. So you can change those things. Another thing to think about is really a strategic question. So before you say yes to anything, I want you to tell yourself, do I have the energy for this? Not just the time, not just the skills, the actual energy. This is one question that will change everything for you, everything. And what is your action step for that? So this week, I want you to pick one thing. You're working through your Monday morning joy exercises. I want you to track your energy in those ways and reflect on that. But just pick one thing to focus on. You could literally just track your energy for 7 days, answering those 3 questions of how you spend your time. You could identify one big hidden drain that you really didn't realize. You could protect 1 hour as a non-negotiable energy time. You could also practice saying, let me check my capacity before your next commitment. So small changes starting now will help over time. So I want you to just continue to reflect in those Monday morning joy weeks or days and not put so much pressure on yourself to accomplish everything at once. Guess what? Learning science tells us that you can't anyway. You have a finite capacity, finite. And so one small change, figure out how that, we've all heard the statistics around 28 days to change a behavior. I don't want you to put boundaries around how long it's going to take. I want you to just focus on one thing at a time. And right now it's focusing on your energy. And then you don't have to do this alone. You are a member of Olive Groves. The community is here. Are you struggling to even assess your own energy? I actually talked to one member the other day that was asking me a question about, I just changed jobs. I actually moved into a job where I have less responsibility, where I have, but I'm overperforming, and people are thinking I'm doing such great work. But the difference is, for my past job where I had all this big departmental responsibility, I moved into more of a support role, which I did on purpose, but I'm feeling like I'm not doing enough. Friends, this individual, because I know them, but this individual has been burning themselves out year over year over year, and finally decided to take a step back and focus on things. But she's fantastic at what she does, but has never truly assessed where her energy is, and it's really uncomfortable for her. And so my invitation for her, because she was looking for some quick fix, it doesn't happen. You got to sit in that uncomfortable and start to share where your energy and your audit is happening. Share that in the community. Ask for feedback. Ask how others are going through this. It is challenging to do this on your own. So let's protect our energy together in this community. And then let me close with this thought for you. This isn't selfish. Protecting your energy is not selfish. Women think when they start to pay attention to themselves that it is a selfish practice, because we are by nature, the majority of women, and those of you specifically in this community, think that paying attention to yourself is somehow detrimental to others in your life. No, because it's how you fully show up for what matters. Your energy is. It's how you make better decisions. It's where you lead with clarity. It's how you create sustainable success and actually enjoy your career. This is actually, let me shift this for those of you in strategy roles and say, this is strategic leadership. This is how you move to the next stage. And so I really want you to assess that this week, keep your energy going, or keep the momentum going, and thinking about how you're spending your energy, really focused on yourself. If you don't have an accountability partner in the community, I would invite you to click on the Meet Members area in the top corner. Find someone maybe that you know or you don't know and say, hey, I would love to check in with you once a week. I would love to check in with you once a month, like whatever that is. To find someone to connect with, because this is community and we're supposed to be talking to each other. So find yourself a partner. And And then this week, we're also in the canopy. I am posting some questions for you to talk through. We do a humans first post, thinking about your energy, humans first Fridays. You are going to see me, and I'm going to be that first person that talks through how I focus on myself as a human and introduce myself. I am obviously not this perfect person, but I do have some things that I'm starting to do that are really just bringing me great joy. And being able to smile in this video and share with you those pieces is exactly what I want to do. So I want to thank you for your time today. I want to just applaud you for focusing on yourself and looking forward to next time.